Good morning, and looking forward to a practice today that focuses on a specific body part. Here it is. Can you see it? It's the psoas. So it's actually showing two muscles there. That long one that starts up in the spine that goes down in front of the hip is called the psoas major. And then that smaller one that starts at the hip and joins it at the bottom is called the iliacus. When you put those together, along with the psoas minor, we call it the iliopsoas. So it's actually, when we talk about the iliopsoas, it's more than one muscle. It's that group of muscles. So if you think about starting out here at the very base of the spine, in the center, wrapping around and coming down in front, and then being joined by that iliacus, that's that group of tight muscles in our hips and low back. And we can do a lot with yoga to help that. One of the things, if you have a tight psoas, you can have very poor posture, because think about that shortening, and that makes you stick your bottom out. And that gives you that poor spinal posture, that lordosis. So we want to avoid that by keeping those stretched out and strong. So we're going to do poses today that will focus not only on stretching, but also strength. When we strengthen the glutes, we strengthen the psoas. So you're going to see some bird dogs today. So poses, because we're going to do bird dog, and actually quite a few hands and knees postures, you might want to have either a knee pad or a towel to put under your knees to give you some extra cushioning. Unless you're on carpet, then you're probably okay. The other thing you need is either that same towel rolled up or a yoga block. We'll just use that for a couple poses at the very end. I'm going to use the block, but you could also use a rolled up towel. Also, you're going to need, for one pose at the very end, either a belt, a strap, or a scarf. So you can use any kind of non-stretchy belt, or if you have a yoga strap, you can use that. I'm going to put these over by my mat, and then we'll get started. We are going to start with a hand gesture that is the American Sign Language word for peace, something that we all need a little bit more of. So imagine you're washing your hands of conflict, wash, wash, and then spread it out, smooth it out. Do that one more time. Wash, wash, smooth it out. And that is our gesture for peace. And I wish peace for all of us, our world, and each of you. Let's now go into our warm-ups. I'm going to back up so you can see me head to toe. And we'll start with our spinal warm-up. Set up in mountain pose, a tennis ball distance between your big toes, and stack everything over the heels, knees, hips, shoulders, ears. Draw your shoulder blades into your back pockets, tall spine, mountain pose, and let's start with elongation. Inhale, lift the arms up as high as you can, float the arms down to the side. Do that again. Inhale, lift, and float. Go at your own pace now, letting your breath dictate your tempo. If you want to add a little lower body, you can bend the knees as you lift up overhead, activating those low body muscles as well. Do one more, and release. Coming back to mountain, and we'll go into standing cat and cow. Exhale, round your back, bend your knees, hug a giant tree. Inhale, reverse the curve, straighten the knees out, and pinch the shoulder blades together. Go at your own pace. Standing cat, standing cow. Make that S shape with your spine. Get a lot of motion here. Really get that spine warmed up. We're actually already starting to warm up those psoas muscles, that whole iliopsoas area. If you're bending into it, you're working it. Do one more, and then return to stand tall. Lateral flexion. This will also get a little stretch across each psoas individually. So place your right hand, right thigh, left hand to the sky, and tilt to the side. Feel that stretch all the way down the left side body. Do one more. And we're going to have a static lateral flexion. So you can do it with your feet exactly as they are, Because we're tilting, if you want to step just a half an inch or an inch wider to give you a wider platform, you can, and then go into your lateral flexion. If you want a deeper stretch, take this left foot slightly behind the right, not into a curtsy, just slightly behind, and then lift that left arm up and come into your lateral flexion. Find your balance, don't lean forward, deeper, and release. Same thing, other side, going into our lateral flexion, left hand down, right hand up, dynamic stretch with motion, here we go. Go at your own pace. Let your breath dictate the tempo. Lengthen through the right side body. Let's do one more. And release. And now we'll take it to our static. So if you want a little bit wider platform, you can change your feet slightly and then go into your static lateral flexion. Or if you want that deeper stretch, take the right foot slightly behind the left. Keep the hips square to the front. Right hand up and laterally flex. Find your balance. Push through the soles of both feet. Deeper. One more breath cycle. And release. Come out of it. Come back into your mountain pose. And we'll finish with our rotation. Slow motion sprinter arms. Draw your right fingers forward and your left elbow back. And then switch. Keep your hips stationary. And we're just twisting through the shoulder girdle and the rib cage. The forward fingertips are reaching as far forward as you can, and that back elbow is pushing back to the back wall. One more each arm. And release. Give everything a little shake. Continue with a few more warm-up poses here. We want to make sure those hips are warmed up. So we're going to do a couple leg lifts here. There's a balance component to this, but we want to focus on the hips. So if you want to ignore the balance component right now, I'll say okay. You can place your hand on a piece of furniture or the wall, and we're going to be lifting up in a forward motion. Or if you want to add that balance component, challenge yourself. You don't have to touch the wall or furniture. Bring your right heel forward. It's touching the earth. And we're just going to lift straight up. We're flexing that psoas area. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Go at your own pace. Tall spine, shoulder blades in the back pockets. One more. Release back to mountain. Same leg, but we're going to change the orientation of the thigh, adding an external rotation. So start by bringing that heel forward, just like we did before. Bear the weight strongly through that left leg. And now turn the right toes to the right. Heel is still touching here. Find your balance. If this is a little bit more shaky and you want to use your support, you can. We're going to lift through the inner thigh. So go ahead and start that lifting motion a little bit different. We've rotated the thigh, so we're working that muscle a little differently here. Tall spine, shoulder blades in the back pockets. One more. Release back to mountain. We'll do that same sequence on the other side. Bring that left heel forward. Option to use your support if you need to. Tall spine, lift up through the rib cage, shoulder blades into the back pockets, and begin your lifting motion. Feel the engagement of the quadriceps, the lengthening of the hamstring. Let's do one more. Release to mountain. And we'll add that external rotation. Bring that left heel forward again. Point the left toes to the left. Keep your heel on the mat. Just find your stability first before we add the motion. Tall spine, shoulders down, and begin the lift. You're lifting through the inner thigh. Or you can think about the ankle bone. Maybe there's a string from the ceiling to the ankle bone. And it's lifting up. One more. And release. Prance it out. All right, finishing off with a little mobility here. We were doing some strength there for the psoas. Now let's do a little mobility. Bent knee, external rotation. So that bent knee is going to come forward and then open out to the side. Tap back down and return to mountain. That's the motion. I did it with my arm, but now let's do it with the leg. Bent knee forward, around and down, mountain. Same leg. Bent knee forward, around, down, mountain. Twice more. Circle with a bent knee, return to mountain. One more time. And prance it out. Same thing, opposite side. Bent knee forward, around, down, and mountain. 3 more times. Circle the bent knee and release. Find your balance, circle and release. Last one. Circle the bent knee and release. Prance it out. We're going to go into a long sequence here of a whole bunch of poses that will take us into a forward fold. There's a plank, a down dog. So come to the skinny end of your mat. I'm turning sideways to you. We're going to start with a half forward fold. So look towards the skinny end of your mat. Set your mountain pose. Breathe. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold from the hips. Land your hands on your thighs or just below your knees, but no further than that. Just start here. Push your bottoms away from you and then wiggle out the knees a little bit. Make sure you're not locking out the knees. And now visualize that picture I showed you. Visualize those muscles. Remember, they do come from the back body around to the front. So it's not just front of the hip flexor that we want to stretch when we're stretching the psoas. We want to get all of it. So here's where we're getting a little bit into that back portion of the psoas that comes around from the back. Take one more breath cycle. And we're going to take it to the mat with our hands. If you can, touch the mat with your hands or bend your knees first, then touch the mat. And then if you can, straighten the knees back out. Look at your knees now, bow the head, breathe. One more breath cycle. And we're going to go into a variation of pyramid. Keep your right foot where it is, step your left foot back, but don't turn the foot. All the toes are still pointing towards the skinny end of your mat. Both legs are straight, variation of pyramid. Look at your right knee, bow your head, and we're going to lift the back heel. Lift it up and lower it down. Lift it up, lower it down. Twice more. Up and down. Last one. Up and down. We're going to go into downward facing dog now. So bend both knees, plant your hands, step both feet back, and lift your hips up to the sky. Spread your fingers wide, keep your ears close to your arms, lift through the armpits, press the thigh bones into the legs, and prance. Get a nice stretch across that hip by trying to get the heel all the way down to the mat as you bend one knee and then the other. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And then pause the prancing motion. We're going to go into plank 3 times. Inhale, draw it forward, stacking shoulders over wrists. Exhale, back to down dog. Twice more. Plank and down dog. Plank. Last time into down dog, stay here. Bear the weight on your right foot and lift that left leg up to the sky. 3-legged dog. Turn your left thigh to the left and bend the knee. So your left foot is hanging over by your right butt cheek. Breathe. You're going to go into down dog tuck. Draw that left knee to your nose and send the left foot to the sky. Second time, to the nose, up to the sky. Last time, to the nose, up to the sky. Bring the foot down. Breathe. Walk both feet towards your hands. And we're going to set up for side angle. So keep your right foot here and send that left foot back again, but this time drop the heel. Line your heels up on a balance beam and bring your right arm to your right thigh. As you lift up with the left arm, straightening it up to the ceiling, and then for the deeper stretch, draw it over your ear. Side angle pose. Breathe. Try not to collapse your right ear down to your right shoulder. Let there be space between the ear and the shoulder. One more breath cycle. Use your core strength to reach both arms over the right knee and then up to the sky. Warrior one. Breathe. Shoulder blades into your back pockets, fingers reaching up. Check in with your left pinky toe. Push it into the mat. But don't grab the mat with all your toes. You're just rolling to the side edge to make sure that the entire foot is flat on the mat. Keep that right shoulder pushed back. Chest is square to the skinny end of your mat. Breathe. And we're going to add our crescent shape. Let the left hand rest on the left leg. Cradle the back of the head with the right hand. Lift up through the rib cage and come into your baby back bend. Squeeze a beach ball between your inner thighs. Keep that left pinky toe pushing into the mat. One more breath cycle. Reach both hands forward, hands to the thigh, and step it forward. Prance it out. We're going to do that entire sequence on the other side. I'm going to turn to the opposite skinny end so you can see me in those side angle poses, but you can stay where you are depending on how you have your environment set up, whatever's best for you. Come into the skinny end of your mat. We're going to start with that half forward fold. Inhale, lift the air up, stretch. Exhale, fold, land your hands on your thighs or just below your knees, but no further than that. Making the letter L with your body. Push your hips back and wiggle the knees out. Don't lock them out. There's a beverage on the back of your neck. Don't hang your head. Feel that stretch in the hips. Visualize those muscles, the psoas and the iliacus. One more breath cycle. And we're going to take it to full forward fold. So if you can, reach those fingertips down to touch or bend the knees first. Land your hands and then straighten the knees back out. Look at your knees. Bow the head here. Relax the back of the neck. Breathe. Then we're going to go into that pyramid variation again. So step your right foot back. Don't turn the foot. Keep both toes, both sets of toes, pointing to the skinny end, and straighten both knees. We're going to lift that back foot 3 times. Lift up the heel and lower the heel down. Second time, lift the heel, lower the heel. Last time, lift the heel, lower the heel. Soften both knees, and we're going to go into down dog. Step both feet back, curling the toes onto the mat. Exhale the hips to the sky. Ears are close to your arms. Lift through the armpits and press your thigh bones into your legs. Begin prancing. Set your awareness to those hip areas where we're trying to lengthen those muscles across the hips. Slow motion here, don't go too fast. Enjoy the stretch. One more breath cycle. And pause the prancing motion. Going into our strength series here, going into plank 3 times. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down dog. One more time. Inhale, forward to plank. Lift up through the shoulders. Exhale, down dog. Stay here, and we'll add our 3-legged dog. Bear the weight on the left. Let the right foot float up to the sky. Rotate your thigh to the right and bend the knee. Your right foot is hanging out by your left butt cheek. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And draw the knee to the nose, and then the right foot to the sky. Twice more. Knee to nose, foot to the sky. Last one. Knee to nose, foot to the sky, and release the foot down. Walk your feet towards your hands, and we'll set up for side angle. Leave your left foot here at the forward part of the mat. Step your right foot back. This time drop the heel. Line up those heels on the balance beam and bring your left arm up to your left thigh as you sweep that right arm up to the sky, straight up, and maybe adding that extra stretch, sending it over the ear. Keep space between your left ear and your shoulder. Don't sink your head onto your shoulder. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And we're taking it to warrior one. Sweep both arms forward over that left knee and then lift up, core strength. Push that left shoulder back. Push your right pinky toe down into the mat. Squeeze a beach ball between your inner thighs. Activate those lower body muscles. Warrior one. Keep the left knee lined up over the left second toe. And we'll add our crescent. Right hand rests on the right leg. Left hand cradles the back of the head. Lift the ribcage up and come into your baby back bend, looking up at the ceiling. Keep the length in the torso. Ribcage lifting away from the hips. Breathe. Right pinky toe still pressed into the mat. One more breath cycle. Reach both arms forward. Rest the hands on the thigh. Soften the back knee. Step it forward and prance it out. Good work, my friends. Balance pose, and then we'll take it to the mat. All right, our balance pose is dancer pose, which gives us a nice stretch through the front of that iliopsoas group of muscles. If you need support, I want you to come all the way into dancer today. So if you need support, come close to a wall or a piece of furniture. So sometimes we say if you can't come all the way into dancer, you can stop right here or here at balancing stick. But today I want you to come all the way into dancer. So use the support if you need to. So balancing on your right foot, energize the soles of the feet, pause the motion, bring your hands to heart center, let your left heel become light, float that foot off the mat and bring the knees together. If you need your support, go ahead and place your right hand on a piece of furniture or a wall. Next progression, and everybody take it today. Connect left hand to left foot, bring the knees back together. Look at something that doesn't move. If you're not hanging onto a wall, extend your right arm up to the sky. We're going to take the final progression to dancer here. So start to reach those fingertips forward. If you need to, touch the fingertips to the wall. And now push the left foot into the left hand. Find that deeper stretch through that quadricep and the psoas. One more breath cycle. And release the pose. Same thing opposite side, so if you need to move to a different wall, go ahead. I'm going to stay here and challenge my balance. Energize the soles of the feet. Bring your hands to heart center. Roll your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Bear the weight on your left foot. Let your right heel become light. Float the foot off the mat and bring the knees together. Next progression. Everyone take it. If you need to have a support, go ahead and send that left arm or left hand to a wall or piece of furniture. And then connect right hand to right foot. Bring the knees back together. If you're hanging onto a wall or a piece of furniture, you can stay there with your left hand or take that left hand to the sky. Lengthen. Breathe. Final progression. Start to reach forward. If you've got your left hand on the wall, just pitch the chest forward and keep your hand on your support. If not, reach your fingertips towards mine. We'll hold hands through the screen. Push your right foot into your right hand. Balance. One more breath cycle. And release the pose. Beautiful work, my friends. We're going to take it down to the mat. So you want to bring your device down towards the floor, either on the floor directly or on a stack of books. And you can join me in hands and knees pose. So if you need to grab that rolled up towel to put under your knees, you can, or you can grab a knee pad. We're going to be doing quite a few hands and knee poses today, so make sure your knees are comfortable. We're going to start with cat and cow, so make big stars with your hands. Place your hands on the mat, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Set your spine neutral, beverage on the back of your neck, you're a table. And now forget about the beverage as you exhale into cat, round your back. Inhale into cow, draw that belly down and the chin forward. Go at your own pace now, cat and cow. If you want to bend the elbows, get some deeper range of motion. Exaggerate the S curve. Remember when we were standing and we did cat and cow? Same thing. Exaggerate that S curve. One more pattern of cat and cow. And now come to neutral spine. We're going to do some hip circles here. It doesn't matter which direction you start. Just start drawing your hips in a circle. Think about the hips making the circle. So use the core muscles. You can lift up through the hips to make that circle. Be gentle and kind on your knees. Think about the hips. Pause, go the other direction. Same thing. The hips are making the circle. Your knees are just attached to the mat. And they're not moving much at all. Pause and return to table. Send your left foot back and curl the toes onto the mat. Lift up through the shoulders. And now push the heel back and then release. We're just rocking on the ball of the foot, stretching out the psoas, the back of the leg. One more. And we switch. Same thing. Step the right foot back, curl the toes onto the mat, push the heel back, and release. Keep lifting up through the shoulders. One more. And bring that knee down. We're going to go into a low lunge here. So we're going to pull the right foot forward. You can take 2 steps or 1 step to get there, or you can even take your right hand behind the thigh and pull it forward. Whatever works for you. Coming into a low lunge, lift up, getting that nice deep stretch on the front of the psoas area. Hands resting on the right thigh. Now we're going to take that left arm up to the sky. So first, just be aware, before you lift the arm, just feel the stretch that you have going on in that left hip flexor area. And now take your hand to your shoulder and just start lifting it up. Reach higher and higher. Feel that change the stretch a little bit, and then bring it back down. We'll do that one more time. Lift up, high, 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 and release down. Now we're going to go into a crescent, so we're going to add a little baby back bend. Whenever you do a back bend, you want to lift the ribcage up to protect the low back. You can keep one hand on your right thigh, or you can do both hands to the sky. We're going to be going to crescent lunge, fold forward. Not all the way down to the mat, just forward towards the, right over the knee. So one or both arms up, ribcage up, baby back bend, and exhale, reach over the knee. Second time, one or both arms up, ribcage up, baby back bend, and over the knee. One more time, one or both arms up, baby back bend, over the knee, and both hands to the thigh. Lateral flexion is next. Remember that picture and how it wraps around, that psoas wraps around? We're going to get that part that wraps here in this next stretch. Left arm up again, feel the stretch begin, and now we're going deeper. Bring that arm over the head. Push in with your right heel, balance, and then lift back to the ceiling. Second time, over the head, and back up. One more time, over the head, and back up. Both hands to the mat. Set up your little teepees here. And now we're going to bend that back knee. So here's where it's really important to have that extra cushion. Bending that back knee. You can stay here with the hands on the mat. I'm going to progress. You don't have to. Taking the hands up to the thigh. You can stay here, or you can reach back. Opposite hand, so right hand to left foot. Keep your chest oriented forward. Breathe Remember, you don't have to grab the foot. You can keep both hands on the mat. One more breath cycle. And everyone, both hands down. We're going into lizard lunge here. So bring both hands to the inside of that right foot and start to bend and straighten your elbows. Elbows bending backwards. Bow the head, look at the left knee behind you. And then pause with the elbows bent. Targeting that stretch in the right hip, right thigh. And if you want to deepen the stretch on the left quadricep in the front of the left hip flexor area, curl the left toes onto the mat and lift that knee, pushing that left heel back. Keep the head bowed, keep the elbows bent. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Left knee down. Tuck your right knee back and come into child's pose. We're going to take that entire sequence on the other side, starting with that low lunge. I'm going to stay facing the same skinny end of the mat, pulling back into table. Once again, we're going to take the foot forward, the left foot this time. You can take 1 or 2 steps to get there, or you can reach back behind the thigh and use your left hand to help you bring that foot forward. Set that orientation up so you're aligned with the knee over the heel. So when I step forward a little bit further. I went too far. So I immediately did that adjustment so that the knee is over the heel. Coming into our upright low lunge, bring both hands up to the thigh, lift the chest, relax the shoulders down. Survey that right hip flexor area. Keep your left hand on your left thigh or knee, and now take the right hand to the shoulder. Feel the awareness as you lift the arm up. Feel this stretch change as you reach as high as you can, and then float the arm back down. Second time, same thing. Lifting all the way up, fingertips as high as you can, and then release back down. Going into crescent, so remember baby back bend, we lift the ribcage up whenever we do that to protect the low back. One or both hands can lift, so if you want, you can keep that left hand on the left thigh, or you can lift both arms up. Looking over that left knee, lift the ribcage, baby back bend, and then exhale, reach both arms forward over the left knee. Second time, arms up, ribcage up, baby back bend, reach over the knee. One more time. Both arms up or one arm, baby back bend, reach over the knee, and then both hands return to the thigh. Going to lateral flexion. So this is the start of what we did when we lifted the right hand up. So go ahead and lift that right hand up. Keep this left shoulder relaxed. Push in firmly with the left foot, and then over the head with that right arm, and then back to the ceiling. Second time. Reaching over the head and back up one more time. Reach over the head and back up. Both hands to the mat. Make your little teepees and bend the back knee. Lifting that right foot up off the mat. Remember, you can stay here. I'm going to add 2 progressions. First one, both hands to the knee, lifting the chest. Second one is to add the bind, opposite hand, so left hand to right foot. Look directly over that left knee, chest is forward. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Release the foot, both hands back down to the mat, and we're going into lizard. So place both hands to the inside of the left foot and start to bend and straighten those elbows. Elbows bending backwards. Bow the head, look at the right knee behind you. And now pause with the elbows bent. Keep the head relaxed, back of the neck relaxed. Keep the knee stacked over the left heel. Targeting that stretch in the left hip, left thigh. And now curl the right toes onto the mat if you want to lift the right knee, and push that right heel back. Elbows are still bent. One more breath cycle. Release the right knee, tuck the left knee back, and let's take a child's pose. We're going to transition into some poses that are going to send your leg out to the side. So we're going to turn in the center of our mat to face the long end of the mat. We're going to come into half awkward airplane. So we're going to be extending our right leg to the right skinny end of the mat. So come into your table pose and then send your right foot to the right skinny end of the mat. And we're going to go into cat and cow here. We're not going all the way into awkward airplane, so we're not going to lift the arms. Both hands stay on the mat. And now start to round your back into cat, and then drop the belly, lift the heart, cow. Go at your own pace, cat and cow, in half awkward airplane. One more. And now we're going to go to gate pose. So take your hands to your left thigh and lift the chest. Extend your arms out into a T. And now draw that right hand down and left arm over your head. Come back to your T. Second time. And back to your T. One more time. And back to your T. Hands to your hips. And now draw that knee to a bent knee configuration and turn the toes off to the right. We're setting up for Captain Morgan pose. This is a very, very small movement. You're going to move this right knee towards the right, but really very small, just about an inch or so. Shoulders down, square the chest off to the center of your mat and move the knee just an inch to the right and then return. Second time and return. One more time. Return, hands down, both knees down. And we'll take those three poses, onto the other side. Half awkward airplane is first, taking your left foot off to the left end of your mat. And going into your cat and cow in half awkward airplane. Round your back as you exhale. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Do that again. Cat and cow in half awkward airplane. Let's do one more pattern of your cat-cow back. And then return to neutral spine. Walk your hands to that right thigh and lift the chest. Extend your arms out into a T. And we'll go into gate pose, Parigasana. Take your left hand down to in front of the left thigh. Draw that right arm over your head and then return to your T. Second time. And back to your T. One more time. And back to your T. Hands to your hips. Bend your left knee. And now turn the knee and the toes to face off to the left. Setting up for Captain Morgan. Square the chest. And we're going to go into that 1-inch motion. Knee's going to move to the left. Tiny motion and return. Second time. Return. Last time. Return. Both hands to the mat. Both knees to the mat. And now we're going to turn it back to face the skinny end. So take a child's pose facing the skinny end of your mat, turning 90 degrees. Setting up for our bird dog sequence. Whenever we strengthen the glutes, you're strengthening that same area. That's right where those psoas muscles are adjacent. So we're strengthening the psoas and we strengthen the glutes. So all those poses that strengthen the glutes will help your psoas. So bird dog sequence is next. Pull yourselves into table. Spread your hands wide, make big stars. Take your left foot back, curling the toes onto the mat. Flex the foot and float the foot off the mat. If you can, bring the heel up to hip height. Push into the mat, lifting up through your shoulders. And now if you can, add the balance component. Right arm reaching forward. Lift up through the left shoulder. We're holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand down, but keep the foot in the air. And we're going to tuck the knee under the chest 4 times. Tuck, extend, tuck, extend. 2 more. Last one, keep it extended. And now we're going to shorten the hamstring by bending the knee, bringing the heel towards your bum. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. 2 more. Bend and straighten. Last one, bend and straighten. Bring the bent knee down to the mat, but don't touch it. Let it float. Foot is flexed. Push up through the shoulders, pushing the mat away from you, going into fire hydrant lift. Bring the knee out to the side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the knee down and take a child's pose. Roll out your wrists. Strengthening sequence here for the psoas. Let's do that on the other side. Pull yourselves forward to table. And we're going to come into that bird dog pose first by stepping your right foot back, curl the toes to the mat, and then float that foot up. If you can, get that heel up to hip height. Push into the mat, lifting through the shoulders. Add the balance component if you can. Extending your left arm forward. Send the left fingertips as far away from your right heel as you can. Lift up through the right shoulder. We're holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the foot in the air, but send that hand back down for stability. And we tuck the knee to the chest 4 times. Tuck and extend. Tuck, push the heel away. 2 more. Last one. Keep the legs straight and then bend the knee to draw your foot towards your bum. 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee is bent, coming down to the mat, but don't touch it. Lift up through the shoulders, flex that right foot, fire hydrant lift out to the right. Here we go. 4, 3, 2. Last one, knees down, child's pose, roll out your wrists. Good strength poses, my friends. We're going to do 2 poses on our bellies, and then we're going to lie on our side for a stretch. So we're done with our knee pad here to lie on our bellies. If you want to move it away and then come down onto your belly, we're going to do a cobra pose and then half frog. So place your hands beneath your shoulders, spread your fingers wide. Everything on your lower body stays connected to the mat. Your big toes, your toenails are touching the mat. Your knees, your thighs, your pubic bone is pressing into the mat. When you lift your chest, imagine you're pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Look forward to the skinny end of your mat. Take 1 breath cycle to prepare in and out. And now on your next inhale, lift your chest and pinch your pencil. Breathe and release. We'll do it 1 more time. 1 breath cycle to prepare, in and out. Next inhale, lift the chest, pinch the pencil between your shoulder blades, press the pubic bone into the mat. Breathe and release. Bring your arms to the top of your mat and take a little breath here, resting your face on the side of your face on your arms. We're going to go into half frog, right and left. So bend your left knee and reach back with your left hand. Connect to the foot. Your right arm is even with the skinny end of your mat, or at least parallel to the skinny end of your mat. Keeping the leg attached to the mat. We're not lifting the leg. We're going to lift the chest. When you lift the chest, you're going into an extension, a baby back bend. So imagine your chest is moving forward. Always stretching before we do our back bends. Inhale, lift the chest. Chest is moving forward. Breathe. Feel that stretch in the quadricep and through the front of the hip flexor area. 1 more breath cycle. Release the foot and let the side of the face rest on your arms. Going into half frog, second side. Bend your right knee. Reach back with your right hand. Connect. Your left arm is parallel to the top end of your mat. Keep the leg attached to the mat. On your next inhale, press in with that left arm, lift the chest, and reach your chest forward. Your chest is trying to reach forward towards that left arm. Breathe and release. Coming onto our side, prop yourselves up on your right elbow and turn onto your right hip. Knees and feet are stacked. And we're going to do a little quad stretch, very much like that half frog, but now we're lying on our hip. So float the top leg, reach back and grab that left foot with your left hand. Push the foot into your hand. Breathe. And now draw that bent knee forward. Slide the hand up to the knee and tuck it into your chest. Release, and we'll switch sides. So roll over to the other end of your mat so you can come down onto your left elbow. Stacking your knees and feet. Lift your top knee so you can reach back and grab that right foot with your right hand and then push the foot into the hand. Deepen that stretch. Lift up through that left arm. Don't collapse onto the shoulder. Start to draw that knee forward, sliding the hand up to the knee and tuck the knee into your chest. Getting that iliacus there. And then release. We're going to lie on our backs. We're going to use both of our props here, either your strap or belt, and your rolled up towel or your block. So go ahead and lie down and have both of those items available to you. We're going to start with half corpse though. So straighten both legs out. I'm going to move these out of the way so they're not blocking your view. And now take your right knee, hug it into your chest with your left arm. Extend your right arm overhead. And now switch it. Draw your left knee in, grab it with your right arm, and extend your left overhead. And now switch again. Go at your own pace here. Every time you extend the leg, you can let the heel rest or you can float the heel. Do one more each leg. And release. Planting both feet flat on the mat, we're going to go into a bridge pose here, moving bridge. And today, either take your block or your rolled up towel and put it between your knees. Walk your heels close to your bottoms, adjust your low back, palms are flat on the mat, and we're going to go into a moving bridge here. So press the upper arms down into the mat, press the heels and the balls of your feet into the mat, and press on your block or rolled up towel. As you inhale, lift the hips. Keep pressing in all three spots. Exhale, lower down. Relax. Same thing. Press the upper arms. Press on the block or rolled up towel. Press the heels and the balls of the feet. Inhale, lift. And lower down. Relax. We'll do it twice more. Press in all three areas. Lift, inhaling. Exhale, lower. Relax. Last one. Press arms, feet, block or rolled up towel. Inhale, lift, and lower down. Remove that prop, that block, set it off to the side. And we're going to go into windshield wipers. So separate your feet wide. Arms can be in a T or cactus arms as you start to rock side to side. Massaging the gluteal area. And we're going to take our stretch here in windshield wipers. Next time your knees are to the left, hold them there. Your left foot is close to the right knee. So if you want that deeper stretch, pick up your left foot and let it rest on the right outer thigh. Breathe. Your spine is in a little extension here, so we will complement that with our next pose, no worries. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Place the left foot back down on the mat. Come back into your windshield wipers. Next time your knees are to the right, hold them there. And if you want that deeper stretch, pick up your right foot, place it on the outside of your left thigh for that deeper stretch on the side of that psoas, and as well as the IT band going down to the knee. One more breath cycle. Place the foot back onto the mat. Inhale, both knees back up to center. Readjust your low back. And now we're going to do our stretch for the hamstring and the inner thigh groin area with our strap or belt. Go ahead and straighten that right leg out as you tuck your left knee towards your chest and take your prop. Thread it to the sole of your foot as you extend that leg up to the sky. Let your shoulders fall back into the mat. And now with motion, add tension and release. Keep that knee straight to enhance your stretch. Now pause with the tension, keeping the knee straight. Relax the shoulders. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Relax the tension. And we're going to go into the opening here. Allow that leg to open off to the left. Let the leg feel heavy in the strap. Keep your right shoulder attached to the mat. Don't let it peel up. If you want to deepen this stretch, keeping the leg where it is. Don't lift it up. Just move that hand towards your head just an inch or two. The leg is still floating just above the earth. Breathe. One more breath cycle. Draw the bent knee to your chest. Switching sides. Send your left foot to the bottom of your mat. Thread the prop onto the sole of your right foot. Extend that leg up to the sky. Relax your shoulders down. And then start that motion. Keeping the knee straight. Adding tension and releasing. And then hold the tension. Breathe. Release the tension, and we'll take it to our inner thigh groin stretch. Open that leg off to the right. I've got some furniture in the way, so I'm not going all the way down to the floor. Keep that left shoulder attached to the floor. And if you want to bring that hand a little closer to your head, you'll deepen the stretch. Breathe. Take 2 more breath cycles. Bend the knee into the chest and remove your prop. We're done with that one, so set it off to the side. We're going to go into half supported corpse. So take your block or your rolled up towel and tuck it underneath your hips. Straighten the legs back out, supported corpse. So your hips are higher than your heels. You get a little opening here for the front of that iliopsoas area. You have a little baby spinal extension too, so we'll complement that in just a moment. And we're going to go into our half supported corpse. So take your right foot and plant it flat on the mat. Letting that left leg just totally relax into the stretch. You can play with the position of the foot by adding a little point and flex. We're going to take one more variation. You can stay here, or you can add one more variation, and that is to draw that bent knee towards your chest, reach down with both hands, and add a little tug. That's going to enhance the stretch across that left hip flexor again. Relax the shoulders backwards into the mat. Breathe. One more breath cycle. And release. We'll change sides. So bend your left knee, planting the left foot flat. Straighten out your right leg. Keep both shoulders connected to the mat. If you want, add some variations of the right foot position, pointing and flexing. Or you can remain static. And now add in that one last variation. You don't have to. You can keep that left foot planted on the mat or float that foot off the mat so your knee's coming towards your chest. Reach down with both hands and give that knee a little tug towards the chest. Shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes if you like. One more breath cycle. Release the knee, plant both feet flat so you can remove that rolled up towel or block from underneath your hips. Lower back down, hug your knees into your chest, add a little sway. Complementing that spinal extension with a little baby upside down child's pose here with sway. One more pose and then relaxation. We're going to go into supine bound angle. So plant the feet on the mat, walk the feet and the knees so their insides are touching, and then allow the knees to open out to the sides, bringing the soles of the feet together. Hands can rest on your belly, or you can be in cactus arms, whatever feels right for you. Your hands could even rest on your inner thighs, maybe even adding a little resistance. Close your eyes, opening through the inner thighs and groin areas. One more breath cycle. Take your hands to the outer thigh area so you can close the knees with assistance. Then we'll come into relaxation. You can keep your knees bent. You can move your feet to the edges of your mat and let your knees rest against each other. You can lengthen the legs for corpse pose with the palms open to the sky. You could come into a sideline fetal pose. You could come into upside down child's pose or regular child's pose, whatever's comfortable to you. Find your relaxing position. Close your eyes and relax everything on your face, your brow, your cheeks, your eyes, your tongue, your throat. And let everything that's touching the mat feel heavy on the mat. Breathe. Survey your body, survey your hips today. We focused on that psoas, that iliopsoas component of the body, those three different muscles. Recall that picture from the very beginning. The psoas major, the psoas minor, and the iliacus. Remember how important it is for having a strong iliopsoas and a stretched out iliopsoas to maintain our good posture. Take 2 more breath cycles here. And we'll return to a seated pose. So however you want to get there, you can do a sit-up or you can roll to your side. If you're already seated, just come into a comfortable seated pose. You can sit with your legs extended or come into a cross-legged pose. My quote today is from an author named Anne Lamott, and she wrote, "Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you." So don't forget to unplug, my friends, maybe even longer than a few minutes. Unplug, relax, remember our sign for peace. Bring your hands outside your hips. Inhale to the sky. Let your thumbs touch your mind, your spirit repping your body. The spirit in me honors the spirit in all of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope your psoas, your iliopsoas, are feeling great. And until next time, keep breathing.